Hey, what is going on, guys? Coming at you with a brand new deck profile, and today I'll be showing you guys my Monarchs. And along with this brand new deck profile, I also have a brand new playmat to show off here with this custom Kakashi playmat that I got from customgaming.com. I'll leave a link to them in the description below if you do want to check them out for your custom playmat needs. And then I'll also leave a link in the description below to the full picture of the playmat, since unfortunately the video here doesn't do the full image justice. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the deck profile. Starting off with the monsters, we have the triple idea. With idea, when it's summoned, you can summon out an IDOS from your deck, and then when it's sent to the graveyard, you can recover a banished Monarch Spell trap card back to your hand. Next, we have the triple IDOS. When IDOS is summoned, you get an extra tribute summon for the turn, along with your one normal summon per turn. And then when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to special summon a monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense from the graveyard, which will typically be Idea, since you can get Idea's effect from being summoned off of IDOS from the graveyard. Next, we have the one Mithra. Mithra is pretty cool because you can just special summon her from free from the hand, and she'll also special summon a token with similar stats on the opponent's side of the field. And then when she's tributed for a tribute summon, you get an extra tribute summon that turn, similar to IDOS. But something to keep in mind is some people on the Monarch Facebook page that I'm a part of have said that if you try to use Mithra and IDOS in the same turn, their extra tribute summons don't stack. So if that is true, kind of do play with those carefully. But Mithra, I still believe, is a nice one-up because you don't really always open, the Idea combo for IDOS. So it's nice to have that Mithra that's just summoned for free and get a monster on board for your tribute summoning plays. Next, we have the free Aether. Aether, of course, when it's tribute summoned, you get to special summon a... well, first you get to send 2 Monarch Spell trap cards with different names from your deck to the graveyard, and then special summon a Monarch monster from your deck. And then it also can be tribute summoned on your opponent's turn by banishing a Monarch Spell trap card from your graveyard. Next, we have the triple Erebus. With Erebus, when it's tribute summoned, you get to either shuffle 1 random card from your opponent's hand, 1 card on their field, or 1 card in their graveyard back into the deck, and that effect does not target. And then when it's in the graveyard, you can discard a Monarch Spell trap card to target a monster with Monarch stats in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. And do keep in mind that it can add back itself with that effect, which is pretty good. Next, we have the 2 Kuraz. Kuraz is one of the only Monarchs that can actually get its effect when it's normal or special summon, so it is one of the ideal targets to summon off of Aether's effect. And when it is summoned, you get to target up to 2 cards in the field, destroy them, and then each player draws 1 card for each of their cards that were destroyed by this effect. So of course you can use this either on your own cards to gain advantage, or you can use it on your opponent's card to disrupt their plays. Next, we have the 2 Thessalos. With Thessalos, when it's tribute summoned, you can look at your opponent's hand and choose one of those cards from their hand to discard. And if it's a monster, they'll take 200 damage times the level of that monster. So the reason that this is still worth playing, even with Erebus's effect, to shuffle a monster from their hand to the deck, or shuffle a card at random from their hand to the deck, is the fact that you get that knowledge of seeing their entire hand and also being able to discard the card you want out of their hand. Means you can take out a key combo card or a power card that could potentially get over your board. So that's why Thessalos is pretty important. Although I will say that if I did own a Mega Caius, I would consider replacing 1 Thessalos with a Mega Caius. But for now, I feel like the 2 Thessalos is pretty good. Then for the final monster, we have the 2 Majesty's Fiends. It was really tough trying to choose between Majesty's Fiend and Vanity's Fiend in the main deck, just because they're both really good lockdown cards. I chose Majesty's Fiend because I like it a little bit better in the Cosmo matchup and in the Mirror match. And also with the free Dominion that's easily searchable, you do have a bit of that Special Summon lockdown anyway with its effect. So I kind of like the balance that you have between Majesty's Fiend locking down effects and Dominion locking down Special Summoning from the extra deck. So that is it for the monsters. For spells, we have the free Domain. With this, if you're the only player that controls a tribute summon monster and you have no extra deck, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. Then if one of your tribute summon monsters attacks an opponent's monster, they gain 800 attack for the damage calculation only. And then once per turn, you can reveal a monster with Mega Monarch stats to lower its levels by 2 until the end of the turn. Next, we have the free Pantheism. It's basically a Destiny draw for Monarchs, to where you can discard one Monarch spell or trap card from your hand to draw 2 cards. Do keep in mind that effect is not once per turn, so you can use multiples of those drawing effects per turn. And then when it's in the graveyard once per turn, you can banish it from the graveyard to reveal 3 Monarch spell or trap cards from your deck. Your opponent chooses one to add to hand, and then the rest get shuffled back into the deck. Next, we have the free Tenacity. Of course, with Tenacity, you reveal a monster from your hand with Monarch stats to add a Monarch spell or trap card from your deck, except for Tenacity, and you can only use 1 Tenacity per turn. Then we have the free Stormforth. Of course, everybody knows what Stormforth does, but of course, the one thing to keep in mind is that you can only activate 1 Stormforth per turn, so do keep that in mind with this card. Then for 1-ups, we have the 1 March. Of course, March prevents any of your Tribute 7 monsters from being targeted or destroyed by card effects. So it's really good to search off of Tenacity turn 1 if you have like a lockdown card, like a Majesty's Fiend, for example, just to really lock down your opponent's board and hopefully win the game off of that. Then we have the 1 Return. Basically, if you tribute summon a monster once per turn, you get to search a monster with Monarch stats from your deck, except for the monster that was tribute summoned. Then we have 1-for-1 to special summon idea from deck, and finally the 1 Rhoda to search idea from deck. So that's it for spells. For traps, we have the triple Prime Monarch. With its on-field effect, you can, once per turn, shuffle back 2 Monarch spell or trap cards from your graveyard back into the deck and draw 1 card. And then, when it's in the graveyard, during either player's turn, once per turn, you can banish 1 other Monarch spell or trap card from your graveyard to special summon this to the field as a monster with 1,000 attack and 2,400 defense. And then the thing to keep in mind here is that this is not a trap monster and it is not treated as a trap card. It is only a monster on the board. Then we have the 1 Escalation. Escalation's good because there's other monsters other than Aether that you want to summon on your opponent's turn. Things like Vistalos, Erebus, Kuraz, Majesty's Fiends are all pretty good to summon on your opponent's turn. And then finally we have the 1 Monarch's Erupt. This is kind of Majesty's Fiend as a trap card in a sense because while you control a Tribute 7 monster, it negates the effects of all of our monsters on the field except for Tribute 7 monsters. So it's basically like a Monarch skill drain in a sense. So that is it for the main deck. Total of 40 cards. It's 19 monsters, 16 spells, and 5 traps. Now on to the Cybex, since of course there is no extra deck in this variant of Monarchs. So starting off, we have the 2 Vanity's Fiend. Vanity's Fiend is a good side-in if you're going against a matchup like Pepe or Fluffles, where Vanity's Fiend is a bit better than Majesty's. Again, just a really powerful lockdown card that can honestly win you the game if you can keep it on board. Next, we have the free Twin Twister. Obviously very important since people will be siding in Mask of Restricts against you. It's also good for any kind of pendulum matchup or any kind of floodgate heavy deck. Then we have the 1 Dark Hole and 1 Regeki. Can be decent side-ins going second if your opponent's going to try to put up a large established board against you. Then we have the 2 Breakthrough Skill, just for some more Infect Negation in case you need it. A lot of people are doing the hand traps like Effect Veiler and Max C, but I kind of find they take up too much space and they can be inconsistent at times. And with Breakthrough Skill, I at least like it in the side over Veiler because it's a 2-for-1 card similar to Twin Twister, to where you can get the Effect Negation from Graveyard as well. Then we have the 2 Chaos Trap Hole. This is actually kind of good in the mirror match, considering that a lot of their important summons like Eidos, Idea, Erebus, Aether, Kuraz, so on and so forth are light and dark based. So you can negate those and banish them with Chaos Trap Hole. And then obviously it's good against other light and dark based matchups like Satellar Knights, Burning Abyss, Cosmos, any Clown variants, so on and so forth. Then we have the 2 Huge Revolution is over. This is basically here to stop Twin Twisters, since that card can really ruin our day if they can use that to get over like a Dominion or a March. Then for the final side card, we have the 2 Royal Decree to stop those back row heavy decks and also to negate Mask and Restrict. So that is it for this new deck profile of Monarchs post Breakers of Shadow. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time.